So, transportation, communication, technology, the whole thing has come to a point where these are going to be extraordinary years, especially these opening years of the 21st century. Here's what's next. Extraordinary opportunity for every business, every community, every country, every nation, every industry in the world. But here's the next part, keen competition. You might not feel so much the world competition, but it's there. A job becomes available in Southern California. Question, does it go to India or does it stay in Southern California? These are those kind of extraordinary times. World competition, keen competition, but extraordinary opportunity. So these are extraordinary turns of events, but the key is now, how can we take advantage? Along with, personal challenges and national challenges, international challenges that have always been with us. According to the storyteller, when there were 4 people on earth, one killed the other, wiped out 25% of the population. So it hasn't gotten that bad. But these are challenging times as well as times of extraordinary opportunity. So we have to be ready for both the challenge and the opportunity. So that's the key, how to be ready for both the challenge and the opportunity. The challenge that faces us every day, to do business correctly so we can secure the future. Now, how to accomplish that? Let me give you some good ideas. Here's number 1. You have to have more than one skill. We all watched, right, the last 20, 25 years when companies were downsizing, the division got chopped. Guy worked for the company for 20 years. His division's now eliminated. He's out of a job. He tells us he's having economic difficulty. And one of the reasons was he had only one skill. So here's number 1, multiple skills. That's part of the safety for the future. For me, I started learning those multiple skills, changed my life. One helped me make my fortune at the time I was 31, but drastically changed my whole life, laid the foundation for my whole career, finally brought me to Palm Springs, La Quinta today. I made a list of those basic multiple skills I learned. I was raised in farm country in Idaho, southwest Idaho. I knew how to milk cows, but didn't pay very well. Here's the first extra skill I learned that started changing my life, and that was sales. Find a product or a service you believe in, be able to present it so well, someone says, yes, I'll become a customer. Then the rest of the fortune making is in good service. Excellent service leads to multiple sales. One good customer, well taken care of, is worth thousands of dollars in advertising. A good customer well taken care of can open doors you can't open, find people you can't find on your own. One good person well taken care of, a chance to render extraordinary service. I learned how to do that, and my income then started to grow. Multiplied by 5 the first year. So now I got 2 skills, milking cows, getting customers. Here's the third one I learned, changed my life forever, finding good people. If you have an enterprise and you need good people, another good suggestion from the Bible, here's what it says. If you search, you will find. If you want good people, you just have to go searching. It says if you're looking for a door of opportunity, you must go knocking on door. First door you knock on, voice says, there's nobody here. So, well, that's interesting. Second door, go away. Okay. Nobody. Fourth door, it opens. There's a person. Could be the beginning of friendship, colleague for life, opportunity, chance to make money. I learned this skill, finding good people. Someone asked me one time, do you teach your people to be nice? I said, no, I recruit nice people. Just bypass all those other classes. Finding good people. So now I got what? 3 skills, milking cows, finding customers, getting good people. Here's the next one that really accelerated my income, and that's organizing, getting people to work together. And it's like the family, it's challenging. Different ages, different personalities, different temperaments. How do you get them all to work together so that the end result is positive, powerful? It's challenging, but it pays off if you learn it. Organizing independent people is like herding cats, if you've got the picture. Herding sheep is easy, right? They all quickly get going the same direction very quickly, but not cats. If you have 9 different cats, they're going how many directions? 9. But if you master it, if you learn it, how to shift, right? Understand a variety of personalities, temperaments, ages, all the rest. If you learn it, the income, this multiplied my income some more. Here's the next one, made me rich. Recognition, promotion, recognition. Sometimes the company promotes for the major steps. I learned to recognize people for small steps of progress. Every little thing I could think of. Figure out rewards for small steps. And then here's a philosophy that really changed for me everything. Be so busy giving other people recognition, you really don't need it for yourself. Then I'll just mention one more on multiple skills that really brought me to this table. And that's communication. Affecting other people with your language. Words are almost godlike in power. The storyteller says, in the beginning, God spoke, said, let there be light, and there was light, giving us the idea that God's words created light. And humans can get pretty close to that. What if somebody can't see how they could possibly be successful, and you came along choosing the best words you could and told your story? And when you finished your story, they said, now I can see. Now it's clear. Before I got here, I was blind. Now that you've talked to me, I can see. That's almost godlike in power. The person said, I was blind. Now I can see. In fact, while you were talking, some things dawned on me. See, that's marvelous. What does the dawn mean? Sun coming up. The lights turning on. We say by conversation, when you talk to somebody, it's possible for the lights to go on. They can see it. They can see it. Because there's more than one way to see. One is to see with your eyes, and the other is to see with your imagination, your understanding. Human beings can close their eyes and say, I see it. I see it. It's clear. I see it. It's clear. How can you see it with your eyes closed? No, there's another way to see. And it's possible by language to help someone to see the possibilities, the opportunity, the future, to see the answers, to solve a whole variety of human problems and challenges. It's one of the greatest gifts you can possibly aspire to learn, the gift of communication. Now, I've divided it into 3 parts, and you're familiar with these parts. Number 1 is training, showing somebody how the business works. Here's the job and how to do it. In simple language, training. Here's the next one, teaching. Teaching someone how life works. I fortunately met a man when I was 25 years old that taught me both job skills and life skills. He gave me excellent training on how to do the job. I became a millionaire by the time I was 31, from age 25. So he taught me well. But the greatest thing he taught me was life skills. Not just the business skills, but the life skills. He taught me how to set goals. He taught me how to become a leader. He taught me how to influence. He taught me time management. Here's one of the greatest keys on time management, if you're ready. For your notes, don't start the day until you have it finished. Building a good day is like building a house. When would you start building the house? When would you start building a house? Okay, in following my little analogy here, you wouldn't start building the house until you had it finished. So you wouldn't start building a house until you had it finished. If you're just out there laying bricks and somebody says, what are you building? You say, I have no idea. See, they'll come and take you away, right? Take you away to a safer place. So don't start the day until you have it finished. A good plan for constructing a good day. Here's one that's a little tougher. Don't start the week until you have it finished. And even tougher, but the payoff is great. Don't start the month until you have it finished. This is the extraordinary gift that humans have, the ability to finish it first, then start it. It's like turning nothing into something. What are the elements of turning nothing into something? Only humans can do this. Here they are. Number one, imagination. Imagine the possibilities. It's hard to say imagination is not something. It's just that it's not tangible, imagination. It's not a table, tangible. But it is powerful, imagination. So imagination, imagine the possibilities. Here's the next step of turning nothing into something. Believe that it's possible for you. A little phrase says, with faith, all things are possible. Without faith, nothing's possible. If there's one thing to pray for, that's probably it. Faith to believe. One, to imagine. Number two, faith to believe. What would make us believe? Testimonials? Someone finishes a dramatic testimonial. Here's where I started, when I was 18 years old. Here's where I am today. And then they finish by saying, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. Come on. Right? I started just like you. I read the first book. I went to the first class. I made the first decision to start the process of change. That's how we get inspired. One, to imagine. Two, to believe. Then here's number three. Go to work and make it real. How to turn nothing into something. That's how this complex of buildings got here. Someone saw them when the property was vacant. You say, well, how can you see something that isn't there? Well, if someone can't see it when it isn't here, it will never be here. And some people can see it so clearly, they could give you the artist's rendering and say to you, this is the building. You say, no, it doesn't exist. Say, yes, it really does. In thought, in mind, and imagination. Then to believe that it's possible for you. Then simply go to work. That kind of teaching, that kind of training, the management of your time, the management of your money. I've been teaching now all these years the 70, 10, 10, and 10 on the management of your money. A lady not long ago told me she was in real estate. I said, how many properties do you own? She said, no, Mr. Rohn, I sell real estate. I said, let me ask the question one more time. How many properties do you own? She said, not any. So here's what I said. If you sell real estate, you make a living. If you buy real estate, you make a fortune. I've averaged building a couple of homes a year up in Idaho, where I grew up. I still have the old family farm, southwest Idaho, overlooking the Snake River. I'm in the path of progress, so a couple of homes every year. Let me tell you one of the incredible real estate stories. 13 years ago, Ron Wagenhals up in Carmel, California, said, Mr. Rohn, I have this neat little condo downtown Carmel where I know you want to live. I said, yes, I do. And he said, it's really small, but it's right there downtown, one bedroom. And he said, I want $80,000 for it. I said, nobody's going to pay $80,000 for this tiny little, if you weighed 200 pounds, you couldn't get in the shower. I mean, this is a real tiny place. I happened to be in Carmel about 5 or 6 weeks ago. Someone says, you might be surprised to know Ron Wagenhals, the condo is still up for sale. And I hadn't looked at it before. He said, would you like to see it? It's just here a couple of blocks. I said, yes. I went and looked at it. Up 3 flights of stairs, this little tiny place, $650,000. So Ron Wagenhals says, thank God every night before he goes to sleep that Jim Rohn did not buy this condo from him. Speaking of real estate, I have a home in Phoenix at the Biltmore, Arizona Biltmore complex. The last 2 houses before you arrive at the golf course, the country club, on lots. On lots. This is not 10 acres, 20 acres, on lots. The one back of the one that's right at the country club is 8 million. And the one right next to the country club is 15 million. Unbelievable. So all of you know all those stories, right? We should have not just sold real estate, we should have bought real estate. Dan McBride had a great idea all those years ago. Jot this one down. This is good. Don't buy the second car till you bought the second house. It's not cars that make you rich. It's houses that make you rich. I taught this in Mexico. Sarah Alfaro picked it up 10 years ago. The 70, 10, 10, and 10. And she not only does it, she teaches it. Now she makes about, I don't know, $35,000, $40,000 a month down in Mexico, which is a lot of money in Mexico. Sarah calls me the other day and said, Mr. Rohn, I'm going shopping today for my third car. I said, well, congratulations, Sarah, because I've just finished paying for my third house. Speaking of real estate. Anyway, where was I before I got off on that wild trip up to Carmel, California, where my grandchildren live? Okay, teach investing. Earning money makes you a living. Investing money makes you rich. We teach kids now not to have a savings account because it's not savings that makes you rich. We teach kids to have an investment account, right? It's investments that make you rich. It should be the goal of every American someday to be financially independent. I remember reaching that all those years ago. Here's what my father taught: debt-free, financially independent. Here's why. When you reach that point, you can now work for joy instead of necessity. And usually you produce many times more productivity working for joy than working for necessity. Communication, learning those kind of skills, help transform people's lives. Now here's the last one on communication: learning to inspire. Helping people to see themselves better than they are. Yes, here's the person you are, making some mistakes, errors in judgment, but here's the person you can become. Fortunately for me, I met someone who was gifted in this. He knew how to inspire. He only went to the 9th grade in school, never finished high school, never went to college, never went to university. And he put things in very simple terms, but he had this gift of helping to inspire. So make this note now. Start with your family and your children. Ask for the gift to inspire them. Then your employees, then your colleagues, then those who work for you. These skills now, learning these multiple skills, is going to ensure economic safety for the future. So to take advantage of Century 21, learning the skills, learn more than one skill. Here's number 2. It would be helpful to know more than one language. The world is getting smaller and smaller. When I was growing up, my father spoke German, but he never taught me. My mother spoke French. She was English, but she spoke French. She never taught me. I could have learned those 3 languages growing up. But back then, our parents said, hey, leave all the old world languages behind, right? This is America now, just English, just English. But that's not true anymore. Some of my business colleagues who speak 3-4 languages make $3-4 million a year. Those languages are so helpful. So make this note. If you think the time has passed you by to learn the 2nd, 3rd language, give it as a gift to your children. Because it's going to be incredibly useful, multi-skilled, multilingual in the 21st century. Now, what's next? In taking advantage of the opportunity of the 21st century along with the competition, the key is, number 1, learn the simplest lesson of economics. I'm sure you've heard it over and over, but let me share it with you one more time. Let's see if I can put it on the board here. Okay, no problem. I was going to move that right over here, Don. I like my name in lights here. That's really good. Appreciate that. Mama said one day, if you're good, if you're good, yeah, I see that. I'm trying to see both screens at once, Don. Okay, you've seen this probably, 1,000 times. We get paid for bringing value to the marketplace. The marketplace is the people, and the value is in two parts. Once you understand this, the world is yours. The value you bring, like a product or service, employment. And the second is the value you become. This can make you a living. This can make you a fortune. I learned that little economic outline when I was 25 years old. Really changed my life. And if you work for a company that keeps working on the product, they'll keep making the product better. The key for your better future is to keep making yourself better. Economics in America is very simple. It starts at $5 an hour. Called what? Minimum wage. And then it just goes up like this. Top income last year, I think, 36 million. Somebody earned for 1 year's work. So from $5 an hour up to 36 million, that's economics in America. No wonder everybody wants to come here. Guess what we call that? A heck of a ladder. I mean, that's, what else could you call it? Now, here's something that changed my life forever. When I found out at age 25 that my income was primarily determined by my philosophy, not the economy. So make that note now, and if you know it, that's wonderful. If you teach it, that's even better. Your income is primarily determined by your philosophy, not the economy. I had no concept of that when I was 25 years old. I would have sworn to you. Because when my mentor said to me, how come you're not doing well? I showed him my paycheck. I said, look, this is all the company pays. He said, no, that's all the company pays you. I thought, well, that's a new way to look at it. So, speaking of philosophy, how would you go from $5 an hour to $6 an hour? Let me give you some examples on philosophy that can get you from $5 an hour to $6 an hour. Here's number one. Wait for the government to change the minimum wage. That's simple and easy, right? If you wait long enough, sure enough, the government will change the minimum wage, let's say to $6. Now, by law, the company must pay you $6, so you're home free. You say, yes, but how long will it take? Answer, I'm sure much longer than you want to wait. But that's the first philosophy, wait for the government. Here's number two, wait for the company to pay you $6 an hour. How long will that take? How often is the review? 6 months, 1 year, let's say you don't make it. Second year, say, well, that's a long time to go from 5 to 6. It is a long time, but that's the next philosophy, wait for the company. Here's the third philosophy, and that's to go on strike. We call it the philosophy of demand. I demand $6 or I won't work. Now, if you're by yourself, this is a risky philosophy. If you've got 1,000 people now to take with you to the company and say, all 1,000 of us will not work unless we get $6, now you might have a chance. But by yourself, this philosophy doesn't work very well. The philosophy of demand only works by collective bargaining, we call it. Okay. And it does work. However, it's very limiting. You might get an extra penny or two, you might get an extra dollar, you might get an extra benefit, but it's very limiting, the philosophy of demand. And here's what for sure, jot this down. Using the philosophy of demand, you cannot get rich. If getting rich is of interest to you. You can't get rich using this philosophy. Gosh, it's so sad when somebody is in the right country and they got the wrong philosophy. So you can't get rich by demand. So now, what would be the next philosophy that might work better for all of us? And I'm sure it's one of the reasons why all of us got here to this room today. Here it is, the philosophy of performance. The philosophy of performance simply states, I will perform so well, arriving early, staying late, doing all the extra things, that the company would easily be justified in paying me $6. My father gave one of the greatest seminars in a simple little sentence. Here's what Papa said. I wish he was here to say it, but since he's gone, I'll say it for him. Here's what he said. Always do more than you get paid for. Now, some unions would argue with us on that point and say, no, that messes up the system. But this is what Papa said. Always do more than you get paid for to make an investment in your future.